I think it's been a couple years since I got to present camp. Last year we were set up, and then you guys did your trunk or treat, and that was the night I was supposed to come and speak. And so instead we came and handed out, I think it was flashlights last year, and then I was like, well, that was great. How often does a camp get the chance to see, what was it, 200 and something students and almost 500 people go through? So we took what you guys were doing, and we actually participated in 4 different trunk or treats this year. And so I think we gave a logoed bag to almost 600 kids. So you know, that's a pretty good return on what you're doing there. So I thank you guys for inviting us to that last year, because that just keeps growing for us as far as an outreach to be able to get the kids that don't normally get to hear about a camp like ours. So I really appreciate that. So I'm going to go ahead and pray, and then we've got a video, and I'll have Dennis play here in a minute, just kind of giving you some highlights from this past summer, and we'll go from there. I'll give you an update on camp. So let's pray. Dear Lord, we just come to you now, and I just thank you for the Church of Kennebec Valley. Lord, I thank you for their support of camp. I know their prayers bathe us every year, and I just ask you to just continue to bless this ministry and to be with Living Waters as we move forward. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. So here's a recap video from this past summer. There is music. Yeah. Be able to get the music, Dennis?
Prisoner to shame, stuck in my own miry clay. But then you called me by name, gave me new life, now I'm saved.
That's okay. So to start off with, I'm sure most of you heard the speedboat you saw in this video sank on us this summer. And thanks to help from you all, we were able to replace that. We've got a 2008 Moomba. It's got the tower and all the fun stuff to do wakeboarding and wake surfing and all of that. And it only had 92 hours on it. So it's almost a brand new boat. So we're super excited about that. So yeah, some updates from this summer. And we had close to 450 students come through the overnight camp. With that, we had 16 salvations, 3 assurances of salvation, and then 10 rededications of their life. So we had a good season. Numbers were a little down over the last year, but some of that was from, we had to have a waiting list just about every week. And that was due to lack of counselor staff. Going into the summer, I had 1 female counselor committed to 6 out of the 7 weeks. And I had 1 male counselor committed to the whole summer. That was what we had going into the summer. God provided people different weeks. We were able to get everybody that was on the waiting list into camp except for our super teen week. We had about 7 or 8 boys that weren't able to come to camp because we didn't have the staffing for it. That is a hard decision to make, but I felt it was better to do that than to just throw an unqualified person into the cabin with the boys. So unfortunately that happened, but we're praying for staff next year, and we're counting on that God's going to provide that, and we'll be able to remedy that. The hard thing is you just don't know how many kids didn't come because of the waiting list. The kids that were put on the waiting list were obviously kids that they were either going to go to Living Waters or nowhere. But kids that mom was good or dad was going to send them to camp somewhere, if they had to go on the waiting list, I'm sure they found somewhere else to send them, but we can't quantify that number. But that's why I think our numbers reflected a little lower this year. But if you saw in the video and you're familiar with our property, the tabernacle on the front may have looked a little different to you. We had a church up in East Hodgdon that had raised money, and we were able to redo the front of our tabernacle, so it has like a brick facade on it, 2 86-inch TVs. We got haze machines and laser lights and all that fun stuff, and we're kind of revamping what it looks like when the campers come in. It's a little more high energy when they come into the tabernacle, and trying to really energize during Bible hour. We found that at camps, a lot of time Bible hour is kind of that hour of the day that the kids kind of come in to put up with, to be able to do all the fun stuff. And so we're trying to make it a little more exciting, a little more fun, and have them excited to be in Bible hour. And Josh was up there a couple times, and I think that was starting to happen. And so we're super excited about that. Some other things that we had happen, we have camp-wide Wi-Fi now. So for you adults that your excuse to come up is you still need to be able to check your emails, that excuse is gone now. If you don't want Wi-Fi, if you want to disconnect, don't connect to it. So, but we do have camp-wide Wi-Fi. We are also able to get all new bedding and towels for all of our motel rooms and cottages. So they've got all new linens, pillows. They have single-serve Keurig K-cup machines in there, so you can get coffee before you walk down to the dining hall. So we're excited about that. In the dining hall, we now have a salad bar. So last year in 22, we were kind of talking about the idea, so we kind of had a 6-foot table set out with some lettuce and different things on it, and you would have thought we reinvented food service. Everybody was super excited about it, and we actually had a church that lined up and got us an actual salad bar now that sits on top of the table. So that has gone over really well. We've got all new tables for where everybody sits. We still have the picnic tables, but if you've been down there, we had those big wide tables from back when we did the family style service, and we were finding that they took up a lot of room that we didn't need to, and people couldn't talk across them. The noise level in the dining hall went up because you had 4 feet between you and the person across from you. So we were able to replace all those tables with your standard 6-foot folding table, and it actually dropped the noise level in our dining hall that people could have better conversations. So we're super excited about that. That space saved, we were able to move our salad bar around, make it a little more convenient. So that was a fun thing. And then we got a brand new ice machine. So if you've ever been involved with sports camp and trying to keep up with ice in the middle of summer, has been very iffy. But we were able to get a brand new ice machine installed, so that was a blessing. The Spear Cottage is pretty much completed. The exterior is completely done. It's painted, ready to go. Interior, only thing we're waiting on is for our utilities. I'm waiting on the electric company. We got the permits in. I'm just waiting for Eastern Maine to come out and hook up the electricity to it. Once they do that, the propane guy can come in. I'm starting to make phone calls to Eastern Maine because the water is on, but I don't have any way of heating the building. So I'm starting to get a little nervous. So if you could be praying for Eastern Maine to kind of bump us up a little bit, I'd appreciate it. But we do have a contingency plan. We are close enough. We can run power up from another one to put a space heater in or something to get through. But we're super excited. We've had someone offer to fully furnish the Spear Cottage. So if you're interested in staying in that building, it is available for this coming summer. So we're super excited that that building is finally ready to go, and it'll be a great addition. Some new things we did this year. We had a men's retreat. Pastor Kevin came up. I can't remember where I'm at. Came up and spoke. We had 30 men come out to our first men's retreat. I know we had done men's retreat years ago, but for a first men's retreat, to have 30 men come out, and most of the men that were there, I believe, were very new to Living Waters. We had one gentleman come with his grandson and a friend, never been to camp before. That was their first time ever coming. So super excited what God's going to do with our men's retreat. That is in the fall, and we're going to continue doing that. And then we started in our second week of camp. We call it Independence Week. We've got the 4th of July. The Canadians have, I think it's July 1st is their Independence Day. They tend to fall on the same week. And so we kind of changed what that week looks like. We focus it on families. We still have our Pioneer Camp, but when they come, they act as a family unit. We all worship together. We don't do the separate adult and kids services. Everybody's together. And it looks like a totally different week of camp. We have a parade through camp with streamers and everything. We have a full-blown half-hour-long fireworks over the lake. We do hamburgers and hot dogs on the waterfront. We had cardboard boat races. So the different groups made cardboard boats, and then they had to get one person in it and paddle out to the dock, and the first one there won. They were allowed to have assistance as long as a person stayed in the cardboard, and I think the ones that won were carried out by their counselor in a mushy thing of cardboard, but a lot of fun. We had decorate your cabin, cottage, or RV competitions. So it was a great time for the family. We're finding that's a hard week for most camps to get kids to come because most families want to be together during that celebration. So we are trying. That's why we changed it. This is going to be our second year doing it. So if you're looking for somewhere to go for the week of 4th of July, maybe try us out. We're going to have, let's see, it's going to be Stan Griffin is going to be preaching, and Caleb Randall is going to be doing the music. And we're super excited about that and moving forward with that. So that's something new going on. Some upcoming things, our Christmas wreaths. I know you guys generally get some Christmas wreaths. We're going to be putting them together on the 18th and getting them delivered out. But we need orders in by Friday, right? This Friday. That if you don't know, that's my wife Esther right there, and she actually runs the place. So that's why I keep checking with her. But Friday the 10th is when those need to be in. If you need any forms or anything, we have the forms in the back, but you should have some here also. So the Christmas wreaths, and then all of our camp registrations for next year are open. So if you're wanting to come out to camp next year, everything's online. You can register online, your kids to go to camp, your grandkids to go to camp, yourself to go to camp. That is all available now. One of the things we're kind of encouraging people with is going into the holiday season is we're kind of offering something new this year, and it's give the gift of camp. We are offering gift certificates for pretty much anything we do at camp. We have one family that the grandmother buys the food package, the family food package for her kids and grandkids that come to camp for the week. She buys it every fall, and that's their Christmas present. So if you have someone that's interested in going to camp, you can give them a week of camp. You can give them food at camp. If you've got a kid or a grandkid that's going to be there and you want to be able to give them $50 on their account to go to Snack Shack, you can get a gift certificate for that also. So if you want to give the gift of camp this holiday season, we are able to set that up for you and get you a gift certificate that you can present to them as a gift that they can use next summer. Let's see, some projects we've got planned. Each year for the last 2 years, we've given each camper that comes through a devotional. And it's very similar to the Daily Bread. So it's about a 3-month worth of devotionals. It's got Living Waters logo on the front. It's got a letter from our program director on the inside cover, some pictures from camp in the back, and they get handed that every year when they come to camp now, and our counselors with them teach them how to start using that devotional. When they go home, 3 months later, they get mailed the next 3 months devotional. So throughout the year, they get mailed 3 times a new devotional that has new pictures from camp, a new letter from our program director, and from there. And there's one for kids and there's one for teens. And we partnered with a company called Keys for Kids, and we send them what we want. They put it together, they mail it out, and it costs us right around $6 a camper per year. So that costs us about $3,500 a year for those devotionals. So we're always asking for, if someone's looking for something to donate towards, that might be something you'd want to help us with, is getting those devotionals out. We heard stories going into this summer where Kylie, our program director, she was stopping to get gas somewhere out by Machias, and she walks into the convenience store part to pay for it, and the kid across the counter says, you're Miss Kylie from Living Waters. And she said, yeah. And he goes, I just got the devotional again this month, and I really appreciate the letter that you have in there. And this was almost into the next summer, and he says, I've been doing this all year. So we're getting reports on teenagers that are using these throughout the year. And that's one of the things we're looking to do. We want to be able to give them tools to be able to use beyond when they're at camp. Because a lot of times a kid comes to camp, has an amazing experience at camp, a life-changing experience, and then they go home and there's no support at home. And there's no tools to have when they get home. And so we saw this devotional, we saw what they were doing, and we thought this would be a great way for us to help give every kid the tools they need to be able to stay in the Word throughout the year. The other side of it is they get excited when they see it. Because how many kids get snail mail anymore? Most kids don't get something, and so every 3 months they get a packet in the mail that's a devotional addressed to them, reminds them of camp, but it also gives them the tools to be able to stay in the Word. So we're super excited about what those are doing, and plan to continue doing that. One of the other projects is between our girls' dorms and the RV park, we want to put up a privacy fence just to kind of give a little bit of separation. Obviously, security, privacy is top priority to all of us. And so we just want to put something up there just to give a little bit of a barrier so that if our RVers are out having a campfire, you don't have girls right there in the dorm, and so just to give a little bit of space there. That we're estimating is going to be about $3,500 to get the 6-foot sections of privacy fence and the posts and all that stuff. Another thing is when we did all the stuff in the tabernacle, the sound and AV stuff, we bought a brand new soundboard, and I was super excited. We got a brand new digital soundboard. We're going to be high tech. And we plugged it in, and we turned it on, and we could barely hear anything out of the speakers. Well, little did I realize that digital soundboards don't have amplifiers in them like the old analogs. And we don't have powered speakers. So all summer, we had to run a brand new digital soundboard through our 1980s analog soundboard to use the amplifier to go through the speakers. Well, by the end of the summer, that system pretty much blew out our speakers, blew out the amplifier, so we're hoping to upgrade our speakers in the tabernacle, get some quality speakers that will work with the system that we have. So that, and then we've also started bringing in live bands. So Josh Brooks, what's the official title? Josh Brooks Worship came and did week 7 teen camp worship. And if you've been in our tabernacle, it gets loud in there. And if you know how musicians are, they like to hear themselves. They get a little, they get a little diva-ish sometimes. And so we have no way of having any monitor system for them. So we're looking into getting, actually, we're going high tech. We want to get them in-ear monitors because the teen services, now the teen sports and the teen week have live bands that are coming to do the worship, and we're starting. Paula Dunn's been doing some of the worship with the kids also, so we're kind of upping our game in there, and we want to be able to give them the equipment they need. So they get a little pricey. The speakers we're looking at are going to be about $4,500. We already have $2,000 towards that, so we still need to raise $25,000, and the monitor system looking at is $15,000. So we're roughly looking at $4,000 to outfit all of that. But we're seeing a difference in the quality of worship that the kids are having, the excitement they're having. And when the speakers come forward, they're actually more ready to listen. They're not falling asleep on us. So we're working on that. And then in the kitchen, we've been redoing a lot of things in our kitchen. How many of you been to camp in the last 2 years? If you've been to camp before the last 2 years and you had a copy of the menu that was the same every year, throw it out. We don't follow that anymore. Katie Frizzle is our food service manager. She works full-time for Brookside down in that's Selma, I believe. And she works there year-round, and then they give her off the summer to come and minister with us. And she's been doing all kinds of stuff. I mean, we've got a chicken stir-fry that's, oh my goodness. And so we've been upgrading a lot of that. We've got the coffee moved out, so there's a self-serve coffee bar. Coffee's available the whole day long, all week long. And the salad bar, but we want to keep improving that. So we want to try to get some of those steam tables to keep the food warm. And so we're hoping to raise about $5,000 towards getting steam tables. So that's another one of the projects we're looking at. And we actually just got back from our board retreat. I took the whole board over to MBBI, and I locked them in a room for 8 hours, and we hammered some stuff out. No, it was a good time. It was a really good time. But I told the board that this year, going into 24, we're just going to focus on some of these smaller projects and completing the ones that we've got going on. So we don't have any plans for any big projects coming up in 24. We're trying to decide what project we're going to do starting in 25. So be praying about that. There's a lot of things on the table. There's a lot of dreaming going on. But we want to take kind of this year and kind of get our handle on it. So we've got these, I think it's like 5 or 6 projects that we're going to try to raise some money for, but focus on getting things wrapped up with what's been going on. God's been doing amazing things at Living Waters. The camp I came from, we had a new director come in, and he walked in the door going, "I'm changing everything." And we're like, we've only been open for 3 years. It was a brand new camp, and we're doing things fairly good, but he's going to change everything. And it really kind of crushed the spirit of the staff that was there that, wow, have we been doing it wrong? And so my intention was to go into Living Waters and not change anything for the first year. So this year was my official first year. Last year, the way it worked was the first year I was there, I think I came here with Roger that first year. Roger was running everything, and I was kind of just tagging along, watching what was going on. Year 2, Roger said, "It's yours. You run it. I'll be here cutting hay or whatever. I'll be around if you need me. Call me. I'll be your training wheels. I'll be your safety net this year, to let me kind of get my feet wet and get things moving." And then this year was my first official. Well, last year, my plan, like I said, was let's start out slow. And God said, "Nope, hold on, we're going for it." We had, 12 heat pumps donated to camp, and I think you guys installed, 6 of them? They're all installed now, so all of our motel rooms have heat and air. The cottages across the creek have heat and air. The infirmary has heat and air. That happened. What else? We got the chapel has new floors, new chairs. That got a whole facelift too. It's got TVs in there now, so you can see the words for the songs. New windows, new fans, all of that in the tabernacle. We got a new pontoon boat last year. We got a new speedboat this year. I can't remember everything that's happened. What's that? Oh, we got the new software that you can register online. So God just has been providing all of these things, and it's been a whirlwind the last 2 years, and I'm just holding on for the ride. And it's been an amazing ride. And I said, guys, we need to kind of catch our breath here, but you know what? If God decides he's going to give us a whirlwind this summer, we're going to hold on and we're going to enjoy the ride. But our intentions is just kind of let's get stuff done that we got started. So that's the plan, but watch out for 2025. I think we're going to have a big one coming down the pike for that, so we're excited about that. Some new things for 2024. I already mentioned the Give the Gift to Camp. Are most of you aware of what's been going on with our horse program? We've had horses at Living Waters since I think Living Waters was almost started. As of this fall, Living Waters does not own any horses, and we do not have any horses at camp anymore. It got to the point that our horses, the average age was about 28 years old, so it was getting time to start replacing horses. Roger was our primary hay cutter. I don't cut hay. That's not my background. You don't want me doing that. So we lost the person that was cutting the hay, and then half of the equipment was actually Roger's personal equipment. So we don't have a hay mower. We don't have a tether. We have 2 balers that are broke. So the equipment was going to be costly to replace. And then Liz Bell, who was our barn manager, it's been getting harder and harder for her to help find the right help. So she's been running this program basically with 14 and 15-year-old girls and not having that leadership develop underneath of her. So we've been praying about what we're supposed to do. The idea of maintaining a 12 to 14 head of horse year-round for using them for 7 weeks out of the year was really not the best thing, especially considering it was probably going to cost us over $100,000 to really get it outfitted right. So we decided that we're not going to maintain that anymore. But what we are going to do is our week 3 this year is going to be equestrian and wilderness base camp. So we do our sports camp. You saw some videos in there. The kids can come and they can choose between doing basketball or doing soccer. Well, kids can come this week and they can choose between doing horse camp or doing a wilderness base camp. And the reason we kind of went with those 2 things is traditionally our horse camp draws about 95% girls. And our wilderness camp draws about 95% guys. Now, every once in a while, you'll get a couple on each side. So we're going to have kind of that same type of idea that we do with basketball and soccer, but we're going to do it with horses. So they could come. The week is completely focused for them on horses. So all of their sessions will be with horses. They'll be doing trail rides. They'll be learning more about them. And when I started talking to Liz about this, she said, you know what, we can actually do more in that week than we do doing the little bit we do through the whole summer. So instead of having 5 or 6 kids each week that are participating in the horse program, we can now do 32 in 1 week. So we're super excited about what that's going to look like. We've got 8 horses that are already on the books to be lent to us to do that camp. That's why the number's 32. We're going to do 2 sessions a day with 2 kids per horse, so 8 kids. Somebody did the math for me, so they said 32. I said okay. And so that's the plan. The horses will actually come in the week before, so they start getting acclimated to each other and our property. She'll be bringing her staff in for that week to get everything set up, and then we will do a week of horse camp, and that's what they'll be learning. On the other side, Will Cliff, who is our wilderness director, who does all those crazy trips down the Allagash or hiking Katahdin and all that fun stuff, he's going to do a base camp on our property. So the kids that are in the wilderness program for most of the week will be staying in our cabins, but they will get a night or 2 out in a tent. They'll get to do canoe trips on East Grand Lake. They'll be going on hikes. They'll be learning the outdoor skills of shelter building and fire making and all of that kind of stuff. Will's even talking about doing a canoe trip out to a campground on East Grand, spending the night out on the lake, and then coming back in the morning. So we're super excited about what this week could turn into, because there's a lot of people that would like to do a wilderness trip, a lot of kids that would like to do a wilderness trip, but the idea of laying on the ground in a tent for a whole week does not sound inviting, but they'd like to have a chance to try it. So we're doing a base camp, and it's going to be a more basic camp. And so we've talked about there might be some overlap. There might be an emergency food shortage one night where the horsemanship people may have to pack up on the horses and take food out to the wilderness guys because they don't have enough food. And they might cook dinner for them or something. We're still working on the logistics, but we're going to try to intertwine them. And what we're doing is the morning Bible hour is going to be specific to camp, to their camp. Liz is bringing in a lady from FCLA that works with FCA, that's bringing in, works with the courses. She's going to do the speaking for her group in the morning. Will is bringing someone to speak, a wilderness guide type person to come in and do the speaking in the morning. And then I've asked Josh Brooks to come out, and in the evening Bible hour, we're going to do a combined, everybody comes in and we do a combined Bible hour. So totally different than anything we've ever done before, but the potential there, I think, is amazing. So we're super excited about that. So that's on the schedule, week 3. So be looking for that, and I hope to give you a great update next year on how that week went. I'm sure Josh will give you a heads up before I get here. But so that's going on. And then I already mentioned that the Spear Cottage will be available for you to stay in next year. Some of the needs we have, obviously, what do you think our biggest need is? Counselors, staff. Traditionally, camps use 18 to 20-something-year-olds for their counselors. I've been challenging people of any age that have a love for kids, and you want to give a week, we'll have you come out and be a counselor with our campers. Now you're sitting there looking at me going, there's no way I'm getting in a gaga ball pit with 8, 10-year-olds. You don't have to. We've got staff that can be in there with them. What we need is mature people who love Jesus and will show Jesus and love on these kids. If you're looking for a ministry opportunity for a week and be able to affect 6 to 10 kids in a very intensive way, talk to us. I just need people that love Jesus and love kids and will love on these kids to come and spend a week with them. I came from a camp that said once you're 25, you can't relate to kids. You're no use putting you in a cabin. I'm still young. I'm only 53. But I can still show a kid who Jesus is and that I love him. And so we're going to shake up the box that is Christian camping for summers, and we're inviting anybody who loves Jesus and loves kids to come out and be a counselor. Now, if you're a family and you've got camp-age kids and mom and dad come out, sorry, mom, you're going to be in with the girls, and dad, you're going to be in with the guys, but your kids can come to camp for free while you're there. And then we'll leave it up to you whether they're in your cabin or not. Because I know some kids, they want nothing to do with mom and dad while they're at camp, so we can put them in another cabin. But there are some kids that they want to be with mom or they want to be with dad for this experience. And that's fine too. We'll let you make the call on that. If you're a grandparent and you got grandkids, your grandkids can come for free that week while you're there, and the same deal. So think about that. We had a youth pastor from Dexter. He came and was a counselor for a week during Super Teen Week. He had four male students come with him. They were in his cabin. We also threw another 3 in there with him. But he had a week with his students as a counselor. Now, if you do the math for most youth leaders, you got 52 weeks in a year. You do what, maybe 2 hours a week? So that's what, 104 hours a year? 24 hours for 5 days. Somebody do the math on that? 120 something hours. So you can get a year's worth of contact with your students in 1 week at camp. And while you're there, you're not planning the activities. You're not doing the preaching. You're not doing the administration. You're just spending time with them. So the time is different. The time is much more intensive. You know, after a campfire where kids are giving testimonies and you get back in your dorm room with your students that you're doing life with, and you're able to have those conversations, is priceless. So we're offering, we're just going, God, I don't know what you're doing with the staffing situation, but we're open to however you want to move with it. So we're throwing out the stereotypes, and we're willing to give it a shot, and I'm trusting that God's going to bring the right people, whether they're 60 or 18, to be in the cabin with the campers. So just something to think about, something to pray about, but staff is the number one thing that we are looking for this coming summer. Now, maybe being a counselor is not your thing, but you want to help with housekeeping or with grounds or kitchen or snack shack or camp store. We've got all kinds of positions, and we've had a lot of adults that come for a week, and they jump on girl staff for a week, or they jump in the office for a week, or they'll jump in the stores for a week. So whatever your talent is, however you think you can serve, we invite you to come. Now, you may have a camp that you're already connected with. It may not be Living Waters. Talk to them. I bet you they're in the same boat we are. I would highly recommend, if you can minister at a camp for a week with the kids, take that opportunity. It'll change you. It'll grow you just as much as it does them. I'm partial to Living Waters, so I'd love to see you all come to Living Waters. But if not, there's a ton of good Christian camps in this state, in this area, that I'd highly encourage you, that they're all looking for help. So if you feel that whisper on your shoulder, find the right place for you and go and take that opportunity. You guys are great. We need volunteer groups every year. Al LaBelle brings a crew down. It's kind of our unofficial opening of camp. I recognize a lot of faces here. Some years we're sweating, some years we got snow, some years we get rain, but I'll tell you what, you guys have a well-oiled machine when it comes to coming out and getting things done. And I can't tell you guys how much we appreciate that and how much we look forward to seeing that big red van pull onto camp. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. Because when Al shows up with this crew, things are going to get done. And so we are super excited for that. And just so you know, I brag on you all over the state, because you guys have been so faithful to doing that. And the stuff that you guys get done for us around camp would not happen without you. And so I just want to thank you for that. And I did want to tell you that I do brag on this church all around the state because of what you guys do on that weekend. And we do get excited when it gets time for that to happen, because that, I guess it means camp's coming. So that is a big thing. I almost get emotional over that, because you can see the love for camp from your body here. So other ways that you can help, we have the GAP program. I know a lot of you are familiar with, and part of our GAP program. The GAP program is standing in the gap for us financially over the off season, the winter, springtime. If you sign up for a GAP program, it's a $50 commitment a year. We send a letter out in the late fall, early winter, and then late winter, early spring, kind of telling you what project or what need there is in camp, and all we ask is for $25 when we send you the letter. You can give more than that, but all we're asking for is a $50 commitment per year. If that's something that you're interested in, we have those forms in the back. We have an Amazon wish list. So if you're looking for something that you want to get for camp, you can go on there. We have all kinds of stuff on there that we need for camp. You can click on them. Amazon will deliver it to us, and we appreciate those packages when we're able to get them. Send a kid to camp. If you have a child or grandchild that is camp age, send them to camp. Maybe you don't, but you would like to help another kid come to camp. We gave out, I want to say, over $30,000 in scholarships this year. We do not turn a kid away for not being able to pay for camp. So about half of that we wrote off. We didn't have scholarship money for. That was about $16,000 that we just won't see, but those kids came to camp. We will never turn that away. But if you want to help a kid come to camp, we have scholarship programs. We have a founder scholarship that Wendell Calder raises money for, and 50 kids, unchurched kids, get to come to camp every year through that. Then we have our scholarships that are for financial reasons. We have promo scholarships we give out. We have volunteer scholarships we give out. But we want to have kids at camp. God will provide the money. He always has. But if that's something that you feel that you could help with, send a kid to camp. Just let us know, and we can do that. Set that up for you. Come to camp. Come for a week at camp. We do family camps. Does everybody here know we do family camps? Anybody not know we do family camps? Okay. We do family camps. We have an RV park. We have electric and water sites. We have electric, water, and sewer sites. We have a motel. We have a 6-room motel. We have 6 waterfront cottages. We have 3, we call them housekeeping cottages. They're full, basically houses, got kitchens and everything in them. I have been very surprised as I go around the state the last 2 years of how many people know of Living Waters but don't know that we have family camp. Most people out there just know that we do kids camp. Well, you get thinking about it, a kid comes to camp and they're 10 years old. Are they paying attention to what all the old people are doing around camp? Nope. They just think we're all staff. So we're finding that there's thousands of kids that have gone to Living Waters growing up, but they don't know that we have a family camp. So I'm trying to make sure people know we have a family camp. You can come out as a family and do camp. And we have it set up. You can come and you can stay in your RV and you can cook all your own food. You can come stay in an RV and eat all your meals in the kitchen, in the dining room. You can come and eat half and half. It's all a la carte. You can do however you want to do it. Same with the motels and the cottages. You can do that however you'd like to. We also have the wilderness trips. We have a whole department that is set up for taking people on crazy wilderness trips. Will Cliff, he is a state licensed guide. He has other state licensed guides and trip leaders that work with him. and they take trips all summer long. They did 10 trips this past summer that were not associated with our brochure trips, and then he did 3 brochure trips, which are the trips that we sponsor and kids sign up through us. He's got a youth group from Pennsylvania that comes up and does trips. He's got people from all over the place that come and do trips. We've got, what's the name of the group, the boys group that comes up from New Hampshire? It came off of the Boy Scouts, but it's not the Boy Scouts anymore. Anyway, I'm sorry. But they come up and they do a trip, and they'll canoe the Allagash, they'll hike Katahdin, and all the reports we get back are they compete with any professional guide service that's out there, and we run about half the cost of a professional guide service to do that. So we've had church groups come out. We've had ladies' Bible studies go and do a trip. We've had men's groups do trips. We've had teenagers do trips. So if somebody wants to do a wilderness trip, get in touch with Will, and we can get that set up for you. But the big thing, the main thing is praying for us. If you could be praying for our staff, as we're starting to recruit for our 2024 staff, be praying for the right people to come. Be praying for our speakers and musicians, that God gives them the word that is to be shared while they're there. Be praying for our guests. Pray that God has been prepping their hearts for what they're going to hear when they're there. And be praying for our finances. We're actually doing okay. We're going to finish the year for our general budget. We're going to be in the black. Where we will not be is the Spear Cottage. Ended up costing us about $25,000 above budget. But if you think about it, our budget for that project was set back in 2018. So, and that budget was set in 2018 with the idea of volunteers doing the work. We had volunteers do the framing, but we actually hired a contractor to come in and finish the building, and we only came out $25,000 over budget on an $85,000 building. That was our original budget. So really, we're very fortunate that happened. That's all that it was, but it is done. So we will be trying to raise the money to pay that money back. And then with the transition happening, when Roger and Karen moved out of the director's cottage, they had been living there, I think it was 20-some years in that house. Like any house, when somebody moves out after living there for 20 years, it needed new floors, needed new paint, needed some appliances and countertops. So that cost us right around $25,000 to get that set up also. So we had to borrow those funds. So those funds we have not been able to pay back yet. But our general budget line, we are going to finish in the black. And God knew what was going to happen, because right before I got here, we sold that Mountain View property. And the board held on to that money. They don't want to nickel and dime that money away. We've got some of that money invested. We're holding on to that money for a big project. But we were able to borrow our own money for these projects. Now that money's spoken for, we got to pay it back, but we're not paying, what's the interest rate right now? 8, 10%, something like that? We're not having to pay that. We just have to pay ourselves back. So God has been blessing us in ways that is unbelievable. So we're super excited about but if you could be praying for our finances, be praying that we're able to raise that additional money to be able to pay those back so we can move forward on those projects. So that's kind of the highlights. Any questions? Any questions about camp? Anything? Yes, ma'am.
Do grilling, like on grills?
Do we have grills for you to grill on, or do we grill for our meals?
Do you use the grills for the kids?
We don't grill food for the kids. No, we have our commercial kitchen that we do all of our food prep in, but we do have grills available around for like our family camp and stuff like that if they want to grill their own food. So yeah.
Do you need new ones?
We could always use new grills, yeah.
I have one you can
Okay, well, we can put it to use. All right, thank you.
How did the weather affect you this year? That must have been.
It was wet. The nice thing about camp is we can do camp as long as it's not thunder and lightning. So we actually had kids water skiing in rain and playing soccer in rain. And yeah, if it's raining, we kind of try to keep the things going. We did have to adjust a little bit. We did learn the power of prayer. We learned to be specific too, because it started out, Lord, if you could not let it rain at this time, because tomorrow, because we got this, we got soccer going on or something. Well, then we started praying, okay, God, it's going to rain, but if you could let it rain at night and stop raining about 6 in the morning and let it start, I can't tell you how many times that actually happened. It was a little muddy, but I think we were still able to have a good camp season. And
I would call it a success. You did that many children with the summer we had. That's a tough.
so, yeah, it was wet.
And they had something to do. Well, because you set the numbers down for council.
Yeah, and that may have too, but no, we were still able to do things, and that's the nice thing about camp. It's raining. We tell them to go swimming. What, you afraid you're gonna get wet? As long as there's no thunder and lightning, we can still do that. So, yeah, and then you get the young kids and you just have them go out puddle jumping, and they think it's a blast. They don't get to do that at home sometimes. So, any other questions? Esther, anything that I?
If you have questions with the registration
Oh
or
yeah.
if you're, we have it open, but every year there's some kind of glitch or some kind of something that didn't copyright, so call me, let me know. If you get stuck somewhere, call me, let me know, because I don't want everyone to get stuck and just not move on.
Yeah. So yeah, with the new system, I know not everybody's comfortable going online and doing online registration. There's some people still have flip phones, right? Yeah. So if you're not comfortable with that, or like Esther said, there's a glitch or it's not doing what you're thinking it should, please call the office. If we don't answer, leave a message. Esther will get back to you, and trust me, she is a whiz at getting people through that process. She can go in the backside of it and help you through it. So, yeah, please don't let that intimidate you or scare you off. But she's there to help you with that. So.
That's a good point, that if we don't answer, leave a message, because you might have us out cutting wood.
Yeah, you don't know what I'll have them doing. So, yes. So we do have more of We do more of an office hours now. So Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 4:30 is our office hours. If you call after hours, you're going to get our voicemail, but we will get back to you. Now during the summer, when there's people on property, we forward the phones. We answer 24/7 when we got people on property. But this time of year, it's pretty much business hours moving forward. So. Just make you aware of that. So, anything else? Yes, sir.
The renovations in the tab really made a big difference. I think the last 3 years, me and Pastor Gill have been kind of tag teaming worship and teaching for sports camp and super team week. And I think the past 2 years, the kids were all over the place, talking during worship, talking during teaching, not paying attention at all. And I don't know exactly, sure it's partially a gimmick, but we turned the lights down, cranked the music up, and the kids were tuned in. Every single kid is up front, involved. And then when Gil got on, those speakers and the microphone helped a ton. Every single student was keyed in just because the volume was up. And so it was a huge change.
So yeah, thank you. So yeah, it's exciting what's going on. Esther and I are super thrilled. It's been 3 years. We've been in with Living Waters now for 3 years. Just finished my freshman year as director. And I'll tell you what, we wouldn't want to be anywhere else. Our daughter, we have she's 27 now, 27-year-old daughter that said she was never going to move to Maine and wanted nothing to do with camp. And and the main reason is because of the snow and the weather up here. And she decided in December to move to Maine. So she moved in with us in December. She is a full-time EMT. She works for Indian Township out there by Calais. So she's actually working tonight. She does a 48-hour shift, and then she's off for 6 days. And a praise there. She was kind of doing her own thing and not walking with God in Missouri. When she moved here, it was, I'm going to move in with you because I kind of need to, but don't bug me about church. Don't ask me to help at camp. And I was like, I love you. Come home. And by the beginning of July, she had actually quit her job at Calais Fire and was pretty much full-time at camp all summer. She has rededicated her life to Christ, and she is just blossoming in Maine. She's got friends now all over the state, so when she's not working, she could be in Machias, she could be in Holton. You never know where she's going to go because she's got friends everywhere now. So just to praise there how camp has even affected my kids at 27 years old. And then those of you that know I have a 26-year-old, he'll be 26 next Friday, son who is married now. He got married last October and lives in Birmingham, Alabama. And so that's going well. So that's a little update on what's going on our family. So if there's no other questions or statements, I think I'm done.
Folks, avail yourself of the opportunity of the wreath thing.